I suppose, the cloud on your horizon at the moment, which is that Garda investigation, which turned into a criminal investigation in relation to the leak. How do you feel? You are in, I suspect, a very uncomfortable position.
Well, first of all, Pat, I can only tell you what I know. As of today, no public authority and no public body, and I repeat, public authority or public body, has been in touch with me to tell me what I'm accused of, what crime or law I may have broken, and what evidence they have to support that. I'm basing pretty much everything on what I read in media reports. What I do know is that a complaint was made to the Gardaí 4 or 5 months ago. They're investigating it. I'd expect no less. They've taken some statements. They haven't been in contact with me yet. I have offered to meet them. I've offered to be interviewed, to make a statement, sworn, under caution, whatever is necessary, because I'm keen to have this matter concluded. But when I do make that statement, Pat, it's going to be much the same as the one that I made in the Dáil last November, because the facts haven't changed. I shared a document with the then president of the NHVP in a way that was inappropriate. I accounted for it in the Dáil. I apologised for it. There was a motion of confidence on it, and the Dáil has confidence in me. I didn't do anything illegal or corrupt or self-interested. There was no personal gain, no personal benefit, did no harm to anyone, and conferred no advantage on anyone. And again, just finally for the record, because I do see reports to the contrary in some newspaper articles, this was not a cabinet document. It was not a cabinet secret. It was not a budget secret. It was not classified. It wasn't even a contract. It was an agreement about changes to a contract, and negotiations on it had concluded, or at least that's what the cabinet was informed, and I have a cabinet memo from the 9th of April to say that.
Okay, but it was a confidential document, or the IMO were under the impression that it was a confidential document, and you shared it with what was, but now defunct, their opposition, I suppose, in applying for doctors' membership.
And that's fair enough. And to the extent that it was confidential, almost all of the salient information and commercially sensitive information was already put in the public domain, not just by the HSC, but also by the IMO and by the government, and was widely reported in the media. So those confidential details from that document were actually put in the public domain by other people, including the HSC and the IMO, long before I shared it with Dr. O'Toole.
Now, just to clarify something you said there, you have not been formally told by the Gardaí that you're under investigation. Is that the case?
That's correct.
So all of us know is what we have read in media reports. Do you know where those media reports came from? I mean, have you established that they have provenance, that there is an investigation, although you have not been informed properly? Are you sure now there is an investigation into you?
I know that statements have been taken by some people, including the Minister of Health or the former Minister of Health, and from my solicitors who've contacted the Gardaí.
Okay. So the process is underway, but even though you have not been formally told.
No, and what I'm largely relying on is media reports. Needless to say, I'm not the source of any of those media reports because nobody has come to me yet. So I'm seeing media reports every couple of weeks, and I don't know whether they're fully true or partially true or not true at all.
So do you have any knowledge as to why it would be upgraded to a criminal investigation?
I don't, but as I understand it, from my legal advisors and solicitors, the only investigations that Gardaí do are criminal investigations. They don't carry out civil investigations, and if they were taking statements, and it appears they took at least one statement as far back as January, well, that's what you do in a full investigation. It's not something that you do in a preliminary investigation. So it's probably been a full investigation all along. But like I say, I can't account for what other people are putting in the media. It's not coming from me.
Now, you know that the leader of the opposition, Mary Lou McDonald, the president of Sinn Féin, has sought a meeting with the Taoiseach and indeed with Eamon Ryan with a view to getting you to step down. They have expressed solidarity with you. But there is that, I suppose, the optics of all of this, where you have the Deputy Prime Minister, the Tánaiste, being investigated by the Gardaí, even though the Gardaí have not spoken about this yet. It is underway, you've confirmed. It is anomalous that perhaps you should stay in your position.
Well, I wasn't going to bring up Sinn Féin or Mary Lou McDonald unless you did, Pat, but I think Mary Lou McDonald's letter to the Taoiseach says a lot about her priorities. She wants to meet him, not about the vaccine programme, not about the Northern Ireland Protocol or the difficulties people are facing as a consequence of Brexit, not about her economic problems and the 500,000 people who are on the pandemic unemployment payment. She wants to meet him about me, and in her own words, it doesn't matter what the outcome of any investigation is by the Gardaí or the DPP. So, to me, it's just a political tactic, and it shows their double standards too. You'll remember back in 2014 that the then leader of Sinn Féin, a TD at the time, was actually arrested by the police in Northern Ireland, was questioned about the murder of a woman, Jean McConville, and nobody in Sinn Féin called for him to step aside. They still won't even say that's a crime. If you ask them whether the murder of that woman was a crime, you'll get some cock and bull response about how they wished history was different. And as we speak, Pat, there's a file on the table of the DPP in Northern Ireland regarding about 20 Republicans who attended the Bobby Story funeral, and nobody in Sinn Féin has called on them to step aside. And in fact, I haven't even called on them to step aside. So it shows their double standards.